Hello and welcome. In the last 2 weeks, many of you have heard or read of the Radia tapes controversy. Among the hours of conversations and many people Nira Radia spoke to is our group editor, Barkha Dutt. The 5 conversations that Nira Radia and Barkha had have become the focus of much scrutiny. Let me clarify here that NDTV rejected allegations of lobbying or power broking on day one. As soon as Open magazine printed these excerpts, followed by Outlook, we continue to do so. Barkha has also issued a personal statement on the NDTV website, as well as responded to all questions put to her on Facebook or Twitter. However, many viewers have asked why we haven't done a show on this. Are we trying to hide something? Well, in the beginning we felt that for Barkha or NDTV to host a show on this seemed odd. We would be accused of favouring our own. It wouldn't have been a level playing field. We wanted a forum where Barkha could explain the questions being asked, but a completely independent one. The one thing we are not part of is a conspiracy of silence. At no stage have we asked any other channel or newspaper not to cover the story. The reason many haven't is because of their own reservations regarding questions on where the tapes came from, why they are edited, who's on the tapes, etc. And by the same yardstick, those who have reported on the tapes and the controversy are completely free to do so. We welcome a free and fair debate. So the program tonight aims to do exactly that. A panel of independent editors, including with us tonight, Manu Joseph, editor of Open magazine, which first printed the excerpts of the Radia tapes. Also with us tonight, Dilip Padgaonkar, former editor of the Times of India, senior journalist, Swapan Dasgupta, also columnist and senior journalist, and Sanjay Baru, editor of the Business Standard. We had also invited the editor of Outlook, Vinod Mehta, on this show. He declined. I'd also like to add at this point that this show will not be edited. What you see is exactly how this show has been recorded. We hope this will answer the questions you have. This editors panel with Barkha. Let me now open the floor and hand over first to Dilip Padgaonkar, sir, for your question.
Well, what I'd like to do in this particular discussion is to avoid 2 pitfalls. One is the pitfall of going along with the moralizers, and the other is the pitfall of going on with those who feel that this entire exercise today is an attempt to whitewash something. I say this because in my own career as a journalist, I've known editors, special correspondents, bureau chiefs being approached by politicians, bureaucrats and so on and so forth to make all kinds of suggestions, put in a word here, put in a word there, for a promotion, for an appointment. These things have happened routinely. Yeah. But they haven't really assumed the kind of form that they have done today. So I'm putting that aside. Yeah. But the whitewashers, again, are those who say nothing wrong has been done, there's been no conspiracy, etc., etc. So let me come to the first point, because at least 2 key issues need to be today discussed threadbare. My first question is, when does journalistic curiosity or probing turn into a go-between job, even if that go-between job may not be for real?
Okay. I think you have raised a very important question, and I think it needs further exploration, Dilip. But before I answer that, and I will, it's also important to point out my objection to the way the recent debate in the last 2 weeks has been framed by both the magazines concerned and then by subsequent sections, not all, sections of the media. This debate was framed as if this was about a scam. This debate was sought to link me to lobbying, power broking, an insinuation of quid pro quo, being on the take, and in some way connected to the 2G scam. One of the magazine covers even described these tapes as the 2G scam tapes. This is a deeply problematic, defamatory way to frame this debate. Had this magazine, or either of these magazines, Manu's here, decided to do a larger, wider debate on the state of Indian journalism, and brought up these conversations in that context, looked at the nuances of what the relationship should be between a journalist and her source, I would have certainly been up for a very honest debate, even to look at the possibility, as I'm going to talk subsequently in the program, of an inadvertent error of judgment. However, what has upset me, hurt me and annoyed me a great deal is that if you look at my reputation, I do not believe that in 16 years anybody has ever cast a question mark on my personal integrity. Now 2 magazines come along and do so with impunity. I will look at all the questions you've raised, Dilip, but Since so much of the conversation and the interrogation, as it were, online and otherwise has been about the Radia tapes, what we thought we would do is to actually make an editorial departure. I just want to clarify that at NDTV, if these tapes had arrived even without me on them, we would not have played them. There are serious questions about private conversations that break no apparent law being aired. This is raw material. We would not have aired raw material, but I'm going to put myself out there for everybody to see by playing the one key conversation that really has been quoted and headlined to basically label me in sections of the media. And I will also after that be playing samples of my work during that key point of government formation in May 2009, and then I'll of course answer the very important question you've raised about what that relationship should be. So if we can, just for our viewers, have a look first at the conversation between Nira Radia and me. This is a conversation that took place on the 22nd of May 2009.
Hi Nira.
Hi, did I wake you up?
No, I've been up, most of the night. If stalemate continues,
Yeah, listen, the thing is that they need to talk to him directly. That's what the problem is.
Apparently now, the message from the other side is that why did Balu go public? They claim that at this point when they had offered them this formula and these guys said no, these guys never told them that we're going to withdraw support. I'm not withdraw support, outside support.
From outside.
So apparently PM's really pissed off that they went public.
But that's Balu's doing, na? He was not instructed by Karunanidhi to do that, actually.
He
was told to come away and tell Congress that.
And he went public. And
well, the media was standing outside.
Oh God. So now what? What should I tell them? Tell me, what should I tell them?
I'll tell you what it is. The problem, and I've had a long chat with both his wife and with the daughter, right? Just giving you the problem is that if Congress has a problem with Balu, if they have a problem with anyone, they need to go and talk to Karunanidhi. They have very good relationship with Karunanidhi directly.
Correct.
Because in front of Balu, in front of Raja, in front of Maran, they can't talk.
Yeah.
So they have to tell him directly. There are enough Congress leaders of Tamil Nadu who they need to go and tell him exactly. The biggest problem is that the following of Aragiri is saying that you cannot give Maran a cabinet post and keep Aragiri in the MOS status.
That's right. Well, will Karuna drop Balu?
Look, if you tell him that Balu is the only problem, I would imagine he will drop him.
But you see, the problem right now is also over choice of portfolios, no?
No, they're not said anything. Their portfolios have not even got discussed.
Congress claims, for whatever it's worth, that DMK wanted surface transport, power, IT, telecom, railways and health.
What the palace list gaya tha?
Abhi Congress has offered IT, telecom, what is it called, chemical and fertilizers, and labor. So this is where it stands now. Will DMK accept those?
Maybe not, because they have to drop Maran if you want them to accept those. Maran is pushing coal and mines.
Who's pushing?
Now Maran is saying, you give me coal and mines. You see, my honest advice to is that you tell them that they need to tell him directly that we are happy, because Kani is got no issue about even being an independent. But Aragiri is now telling her that you cannot take an independent charge if Maran remains cabinet minister.
I see.
And Congress is sending messages through media and through various sources saying that, and Maran is going on telling everyone that he is the only acceptable person.
That I know.
Yeah, but that's not correct, na?
No, I know. We've taken that off. But
the Congress needs to tell Karunanidhi that we have not said anything about Maran.
Okay, let me talk to them again.
Yeah, the choice of candidate we will leave to you. We have some reservation about Balu. And let them tell the reservation, and we have not said anything about Maran. We are not asking.
Well, the conversation actually trails off in the middle. I don't know how that conversation ends. It's clearly a continuum of previous conversations that have not been released, including the backdrop in which she actually first called me, which was the previous day when she called to tell me that a news report that we were running about there being an agreement between the Congress and the DMK on portfolios was incorrect, and this was not correct. And I said, how do you know? And she said, I'm sitting with Kanimuri. This is the point at which I discover that here's somebody who's plugged into the DMK. Now, before I play a sample of my work, I do want to answer your question. You said, at what point do you go beyond the line of duty to become a go-between? I think it's very important to say here that I did not and as I have maintained repeatedly, I actually did not pass on any message. The message in this case was, tell the Congress to talk to Karunanidhi, not tell the Congress to make Raja telecom minister, not can you tell them this is the portfolio wanted. Tell the Congress there's too much confusion. Balu's talking here, Maran's talking here, so-and-so's talking here. Tell them to talk to Karunanidhi. She was giving me useful information. When I look back with hindsight, with everything that one knows about her, I feel that I made an error of judgment. But I feel that that is the most that I can be accused of in this, because I actually did not pass on any message. And what bothers me in this case, Dilip, is that this was raw material. Did anybody bring up Ghulam Nabi Azad, who's referred to later in the transcripts, and check with him whether I called him? He's the person she's repeatedly saying, tell him to call Karunanidhi. I haven't seen any evidence of anyone even checking this.
Why would she ask you to act like her courier?
I think it is not unusual for the trading of information per se to take place in the pursuit of a news story. Often we use information to get more information. I don't personally find this, although I'm saying having learned a lesson from this, I would be very careful with who I shared that information with going forward, and that is certainly a learning for me from this. But per se, if you were to ask me as an editor, is it wrong to tell the DMK what the Congress is saying and to tell the Congress what the DMK is saying? I don't think it's always wrong. I think it depends on the content. Had I been asked to pass a message to intercede on behalf of a minister or a portfolio? Absolutely not. But suppose I say to X person in the Congress, listen, I'm getting a sense from the DMK that this proposal that you've put on is not going to work for them. What do you think? Would you be willing to look at this differently? Because this is what I'm picking up on the other side. I think we've got to look at this in a little more of a complex way.
Can I come in here at this stage?
Sure.
Because I think on this specific issue, if you don't mind, just a couple of clarifications.
Yes.
Because one, you say you have not spoken to anyone, but there is a conversation subsequently where Nira Radia says, will they speak to her? And you say, yeah. And she says, who, Ghulam?
Yes.
And you say, yes, Ghulam.
Yes.
So on what basis were you making that statement? Second, you also say that Ahmed Patel says this is rubbish when she tells you. So which means you've had a conversation both with Ghulam Nabi Azad and with Ahmed Patel. So I'm not very clear when you say you did not speak to anyone. This suggests that you actually did speak to them. My second question is...
Can I answer that first?
Okay.
Okay. I was certainly speaking to a number of people in the Congress. And in this particular case, on the DMK side, we had other reporters speaking to Dayanidhi Maran, T.R. Balu. There was a number of us talking to different people, whoever we could get ins with. Basically, it was as simple as that. I may not know T.R. Balu very well, but I had a colleague, in fact, who was chasing him and Dayanidhi Maran in Delhi. The reference to a certain Congress leader saying this is rubbish relates to information, not to message carrying. I think we have to separate those strands. She's saying to me, this is what I'm hearing from the Congress. I'm saying no. There was a tussle over, the Congress was angry because the DMK had refused to come for the swearing in, because the DMK had gone public criticizing
my suggestion
the government.
Is that
Azad I did not speak to.
No, but this says
yes,
Ghulam, and you say, yeah, Ghulam. So on what basis are you saying that Ghulam said this?
I basically am fibbing to her because she's made about 5 phone calls to me to say, have you told them to speak to her? Have you told them to speak to her?
No,
and I say, yeah, I've spoken.
That brings me to my second question.